Would an imbecile come up with this?
Uh-huh.
You know, for kids.
Copy!
Greetings, my friend.
Mr. Klein, up to 9. Mrs. Dell, personnel, Mr. 1137.
36.
Walk down.
Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnic Vogon Jeffs, and in this video, I'm going to discuss the 1994 noir screwball comedy, The Hudsucker Proxy.
Okay, go ahead.
Directed by Joel and Ethan Coen from a script by the Coens and Sam Raimi, The Hudsucker Proxy was a critical and financial failure at the box office, but has become a cult hit over the past several decades. The film is a love letter to the cinema of the 40s and 50s that inspired the filmmakers, with references, intentional or not, to movies like It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, His Girl Friday, and even Terry Gilliam's Brazil, starring Tim Robbins, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Paul Newman, Charles Durning, John Mahoney, Bruce Campbell, Bill Cobbs, and Jim True. The Hudsucker Proxy is a flawed but entertaining reminder that, even when they aren't at the top of their game, the Coen Brothers are still better than most. At least when they're working together. I mean, Drive Away Dolls and Honey Don't? Yikes.
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 Wait, what? Alright. It's New Year's Eve, 1958 in New York City, and we're introduced to Norval Barnes, president of Hudsucker Industries, by way of an omniscient narrator who will become important about halfway through the story.
Is he really gonna do it? Is Norville really gonna jelly up the sidewalk?
As the clock on Hudsucker Tower strikes midnight, we travel back in time to find out how Norval wound up on the ledge of the building. This opening sequence is fantastic. Beautiful visual storytelling here. The bus from Muncie to New York, the suitcase with the Muncie College of Business Administration sticker, the Nidus Employment Agency, which is genius. It's the Latin word for nest, but also refers to a place or situation in which something develops, or the more cynical medical definition, which is a place in which bacteria multiply. Norval watches as hundreds of job postings flash before his eyes, and his initial optimism slowly fades. Every position requires experience, something he clearly doesn't possess. He's a naif, he's wet behind the ears. Without a single word, the film has established that Norval is new to the big city, educated, and inexperienced. It's clear and concise characterization. Also, take note of the circular motifs. We'll circle back on this in a bit. But for now, pay attention to the contrast between circular imagery and the rigid lines within each frame. It's important. As Norval continues his search for a job, Waring Hudsucker and the board of directors discuss the success of Hudsucker Industries.
Market shares in most divisions is increasing, and we have opened 7 new regional offices.
Business is booming. This board meeting, particularly Waring Hudsucker's changing disposition, is juxtaposed with Norval's desperate search for employment. As the young job seeker is fated a promising lead, Waring removes his pocket watch and runs across the boardroom table, jumping through the window. Norval enters Hudsucker Industries as Hudsucker himself faceplants into the busy street. Sidney Musburger, a member of the board of directors, calmly assesses the situation. After finding out that Hudsucker's stock shares will be made available to the general public at the end of the year,
Do you mean to say that any slob in a smelly t-shirt will be able to buy Hudsucker stock?
Musburger puts forward a plan.
What are you suggesting, Sidney?
He suggests that the board purchase a controlling interest. Unfortunately, they can't afford to while the stock is as strong as it is, so they'll need to find a way of lowering the stock value.
1 month to make the blue chip investment of the century look like a round-trip ticket on the Titanic.
We depress the stock to the point where we can buy 50%.
51.
It could work. It should work.
It would work.
They need a new president who will inspire panic in the stockholders.
A puppet. A proxy.
A pawn.
Sure. Some jerk.
Cut to Norval in the Hudsucker mailroom. He's determined to make his way up the corporate ladder.
Just got hired today. But
I got big ideas.
Of course, no one understands his great idea. It's a circle on a piece of paper.
You know, for kids.
After a moment of silence to mourn the passing of Waring Hudsucker, the mailroom chaos disperses when a blue letter shows up.
Confidential communication between the brass. Usually bad news. They hate blue letters upstairs.
Norval is tasked with delivering the blue letter to Musburger, and he then meets Buzz, the elevator operator, who rushes him to the top floor.
Good luck, buddy. You're gonna need it.
Norval sheepishly enters Sidney Musburger's office and slowly makes his way up to his desk. He gets the intimidating board member's attention, but instead of delivering the blue letter as requested, he takes the opportunity to share his bright idea.
You know, for kids.
Musburger takes him for a simpleton, eyeing him up and down, believing he's found his patsy, his new puppet president. He questions Norval, trying to prove to himself that he's found a perfect stooge.
You weren't blessed with much education,
Well, I'm a college graduate.
but you did not excel in your studies.
Well, I made Dean's List.
But every question asked results in a less than perfect answer. He persists until it becomes evident that Norval isn't the right choice.
And your friends, they called you jerk, didn't they?
Oh.
Dope. Dipstick.
Oh.
Not even behind your back.
As a matter of fact, they voted me most likely to succeed.
You're fired.
He kicks the mailroom worker out of his office, which leads to a small fire, which leads to a garbage bin being thrown through a window, which leads to some important documents getting sucked out of the office, which leads to Sidney Musburger falling through a window. Norval acts quickly and saves Musburger from falling to his death.
Don't worry, Mr. Musburger! I got you! I got you by your pants!
Now, I really love this scene. It's another great example of how the Coen brothers establish character in unconventional ways. Musburger is hanging from his pants, and the mere mention of the word makes him remember a conversation he had with his tailor. It's a simple scene that shows how selfish he is. His tailor wants to give him quality and durability, but Musburger only sees it from his cynical perspective.
Single stitch is fine.
But the double stitch, she lasts forever.
Why on earth would I want a double stitch? To pad your account.
We then get another flashback to show that the tailor gives him the double stitch anyway because, unlike Musburger, he's kind and generous. This sequence helps develop Musburger as a villain through a simple, comical scenario. I love it. I love this kind of storytelling. It's succeeded by a laughter-fueled montage of Norville becoming the president of Hudsucker Industries. The board realizes that he's their perfect patsy, and the continuous, non-stop laughing is symbolic of the lunacy of the situation. The board members are laughing their way to the bank. Norval can't believe his luck. The whole thing is a massive joke. Across town at the Manhattan Argus newspaper, editor-in-chief Al sticks it to his staff.
We need a front page with a heart, and the whole idea of the idea, man. Idea can put it there.
He wants to know everything about Norval and how he became the president of Hudsucker Industries.
I don't want excuses, I want results. Where's he from? Where's he going? I want to know everything about this guy. What are his hopes and dreams, his desires and aspirations? How tall is he? What's his shoe size? What does he sleep? What does he have for breakfast?
The meeting is interrupted by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Amy Archer.
Huh?
I tell you, the guy's a phony.
She thinks Norval is a fraud and is determined to prove it. Using Norval's naive nature against him and pretending to be from his hometown of Muncie,
You're from Muncie?
Why, yes. Do you know it?
Amy cons her way into a job as his personal secretary.
Say, look, Amy, why don't you work in here with me? Are you familiar with the mimeograph machine?
She then writes a scathing piece about Norval's intelligence, or lack thereof, and the president of Hudsucker doesn't take it well. He has Amy, his personal secretary, draft an angry response letter in which he attacks the journalist's integrity.
Dear Miss Archer, I call you Miss because you seem to have missed the boat completely on this one.
But he doesn't really want to send out the angry letter, and Amy realizes she may have misjudged Norval and jumped to a conclusion in aid of rushing her sensational story. Wow, imagine that. A journalist putting their career and a sensational, eye-catching headline above the altruistic purpose of their profession. You know, thank God this kind of thing doesn't happen in the real world. Anyway, Norval ruins all of the goodwill he just earned by nailing Amy's feminism to the wall.
She's probably one of these fast-talking career gals, thinks she's one of the boys. Probably is one of the boys, if you know what I mean. Seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? She's probably very unattractive and bitter about it. And I bet she's ugly, real ugly. Otherwise, why wouldn't they print her picture next to her byline?
Maybe she puts her work ahead of her personal appearance.
He has her dead to rights, and it pisses her off completely.
Bet that's exactly what she tells herself. You and I both know she's a dried-up, bitter old maid.
Okay, so you remember that omniscient narrator from the beginning of the movie? Well, one night, after Hudsucker has closed down for the business day, Amy stays behind to snoop around. She makes her way into the building's clockworks and meets Moses, the narrator.
I keeps the old circle turning.
Moses knows pretty much everything that goes on at Hudsucker, and Amy learns why the board of directors wanted an imbecile as the president.
Cause they little piglets is trying to inspire panic.
Moses also sees through Amy's pretenses, but at a much deeper level than Norval.
You ain't exactly the genuine article, are you, Miss Archie?
Now, this scene is important, and I think there are 3 takeaways. The first is Moses, his character. It's a pretty cut and dry example of the black savior trope, but that's neither here nor there. What's important is that he is clearly more than just a clock tower maintenance worker. He's symbolic. I mean, his name is Moses, for Christ's sake, and his omniscience is intentional and relevant to the story. He sees and knows things that others do not. He has a spiritual connection to the story. He keeps the old circle turning. And then there's Amy. Norval's naive nature helped him see right through Amy's article, but it's Moses who really sees her for who she is.
Why you pretending to be such a hard old sourpuss? They gonna never make you happy.
I'm happy enough.
Her persona is a front. It's a barrier, which is why I love the pate news voice. No, not pate. Pate. Her dialect, her vocal affectation.
Here comes the gravy. The chump really likes me. A Muncie girl.
She's the only woman in the movie who talks like this. Even her fast-talking male co-workers don't lay it on as thick as she does. Yes, it's a nod to the cinematic inspiration Joel, Ethan, and Sam used to write this story, but it has a deeper meaning. It's a physical manifestation of Amy's false persona, and Jennifer Jason Leigh uses it to a wonderful effect in this role. It's probably my favorite part of the whole movie. And lastly, there's an important lesson to be learned. When folks at the top act like morons, the easy thing to do is assume that they are morons. The real challenge is figuring out what is motivating them to act in this way. Sure, they could be genuinely stupid, but that's not Occam's razor, nor is it Hanlon's razor. Working under the assumption that powerful people are not looking out for your best interests, but rather their own, is the simplest explanation that requires the fewest assumptions, and it is almost always the correct one. Amy takes the story back to Al, but he refuses to run with it.
I can't print that.
Why not? It's all true.
It's pure speculation why they'd have my butt in a satchel.
He wants more stories about Norval being a dimwit, and at the annual Hudsucker Christmas Gala, Norval offends investors.
Taxa spusa mit Navelman Tors.
Peter Gallagher croons, and Amy falls in love with her fake boss as he explains what the movie is really all about.
It's what your beatnik friends call karma.
Karma.
The great circle of life, death, and rebirth.
I think I heard of that. What goes around comes around.
That's it, a great wheel that gives us all what we deserve.
Norval and Amy kiss and fade to black.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
The following day, during a board meeting presentation, Norval unveils his great idea. It's a hula hoop! Most of the board members have no idea what to make of it.
What the hell is it?
But Musburger is confident it'll be a huge disaster.
Genius.
And encourages the board to mass-produce the dingus with all deliberate speed.
Of course. As president, the ultimate decision is yours.
Oh, I'm for it.
Hudsucker Industries goes into overdrive to put Norval's idea to market. Despite some initial hesitation from consumers, the hula hoop is a hit. The kids go crazy for it. Norval and his fantastically simple idea are celebrated by the media.
Well, frankly, I don't think anybody expected this much hoopla.
Even the President of the United States is proud of him. Through a series of montage sequences, Norval transforms from naive bumpkin to big-headed executive, and Amy is pushed aside for Anna Nicole Smith.
Whoa.
The board finds out that Musburger sold all of their stock before Norval's success.
And I'm ruined.
But the greedy executive is confident that the situation can be turned in their favor.
I say we made this chump. We can break him.
And Amy barges into Norval's office and gives him what for.
I've been watching you, Norville Bonds, even though you've been trying to avoid me.
Amy, you don't...
Shut up, and don't think I haven't noticed how you've changed. I used to think you were a swell guy.
Amy, I am...
Shut up. Well, maybe you're not so slow, but you're not so swell either.
She thinks he's sold out and has forgotten about his altruistic intentions.
Norville, don't you remember how you used to feel about the hoop?
In a defiant and calm rage, she quits and walks out on her fake boss.
But now your head's too big to be in over.
Hey.
Consider this my resignation.
To illustrate his transformation, Norval is approached by Buzz, the elevator operator.
You see, I don't intend to be an elevator boy forever. Take a look at this sweet baby.
He pitches his own idea, which just so happens to be another circle. But this circle represents a straw instead of a hula hoop.
You know, for drinks.
A bendy straw, the Buzz Sucker. Norval rejects Buzz's idea. He's indignant. He makes an example of Buzz by firing him on the spot, ignoring his tearful pleas. Meanwhile, Musburger receives a dossier of information regarding Norval's former secretary, Amy Smith, aka Amy Archer. It's just the kind of leverage he needed to get rid of the stock-strengthening sap. He also colludes with Buzz to claim that Norval stole his hula hoop idea from the elevator operator. And the Manhattan Argus is prepared to run with the story.
You can't print that.
We are printing it. She hits the streets this evening.
Amy is furious at her colleague's lack of journalistic integrity.
You're fools, both of you. You're being used, don't you see?
And quits on the spot.
I quit. Consider this my resignation.
Soft. Again, I've got to say it, I am eternally grateful that this kind of thing doesn't happen on a regular basis in the real world. I mean, imagine what kind of world it would be if we couldn't trust our news sources. An inebriated Norval heads to Amy's favorite beatnik bar to wallow in his depression. Amy comes to ask him for a second chance, but he brushes her off.
You lied to me. How could you lie to me? You, a Muncie girl.
Oh, no.
He wanders off into the night and runs into Buzz, who gives him a fistful of fingers. The city turns on him, chasing him through the snowy streets of New York. Norval manages to give his pursuers the slip and makes his way back to Hudsucker, where he finds Aloysius the janitor removing his name from his office door. Distraught, Norval dons his mailroom apron and steps out onto the ledge of the building. Aloysius closes the window behind him and Norval slips on the ledge as the clock strikes midnight. He loses his grip and begins to plummet towards the street. Just as Norval is about to become pavement jelly, he freezes in place, momentarily saved by a literal deus ex machina.
Strictly speaking, I'm never supposed to do this. But have you got a better idea?
While hanging in midair, an angelic wearing Hudsucker descends to chastise the naive Norval for not delivering the blue letter.
Mr. Hudsucker?
Hey, I like that thing. We're all wearing them upstairs. It's a fad. Anyway, any particular reason you didn't give him my blue letter? Jesus, Norman, just a dying man's last words and wishes. No big deal.
Geez, sir,
It's New Year's. I'm not going to add to your woes. I'm just saying.
It was Hudsucker's resignation letter. It was a condemnation of his career-obsessed life.
I've let my success become my identity. I have foolishly played the great man and watched my life become more and more empty as a result.
Next page. Next page.
And it was a will. It was a letter that bequeathed all of Hudsucker's stocks to whomever was elected as president of the company, which would be Norval.
That'll show the bastard.
Back in the Clockworks, Moses and Aloysius fight. Moses is victorious and Norval is saved from Hudsucker's fate. He races back to the beatnik bar to reunite with Amy and they embrace. The new year begins, 1959. Musburger goes crazy and gets sent to the loony bin, and Norval resumes his presidency with a renewed sense of self and a brand new product, the Frisbee. The end.
Better be good. I'm in a bad mood.
How can you not love a movie that combines the sensibilities of the Coen Brothers with Sam Raimi?
What am I, head shrinker?
That is the question I pose to you, dear viewer. Are there imperfections and inconsistencies within the film? Sure. I'm not going to say it's my favorite movie of all time, or even my favorite Coen Brothers movie. That is a designation reserved for Barton Fink. Or maybe No Country for Old Men. Or maybe Lebowski. Fargo was pretty damn good too. Geez, it's a hard call. Joel and Ethan Coen have such a great track record with their movies. They are almost all worth watching multiple times. Rich and layered storytelling, expertly crafted with a distinct voice that transcends subject matter. The Hudsucker Proxy is no different. Despite its critical and commercial failure, it deserves to stand side by side with the likes of Raising Arizona and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Did not? Why not? And since when?
The world they build in this movie is intricate and engrossing. The characters are well developed and compelling. And overall, the positives far outweigh the negatives.
Sure.
The story drags a bit after the midpoint, the timeline of the movie feels nonsensical, and some of the themes could have been better developed.
I'll stake my purity Pulitzer on it.
But it's a surrealist period piece that uses comedy to parody careerism and explore Buddhist ideas.
You know, for kids.
So I think we've got to cut it a bit of slack for being infinitely more creative than most of the dreck we get. That's kind of the whole point, and it's what makes the Hudsucker Proxy a pretty damn good movie.
You'd love it. What's he doing? Dancing?
No, he's just about to,
Thank you for your kind attention. This moment has been duly noted on your time cards and will be deducted from your pay.